Welcome to June the 15th. I'll start from 2017 and I'll work backwards to 2014. Take it from there. Some things should not happen, but they do. The fire engulfing a block of units was apparently spread by exterior cladding. No one seems to have considered that could turn the block into a Roman candle. The emergency fire instruction to members of the block was that they should remain in their units, but they could have escaped if they had used the fire escape early. It appears a dozen people died from policy. In the United States, unhinged rhetoric from the swamp through media and Democrat Party resulted in an evil loser shooting government lawmakers. The evil loser asked who was playing baseball, Democrat or Republican, and when he was told Republican were on the field, he opened fire from a distance. He was killed after security shot back. Otherwise, it could have been much worse. The swamp is fighting back because Trump is successfully draining it. Today, the swamp produced fake news of an unnamed source claiming an investigation into allegations of Russian collusion would expand to include Trump. But the facts are the entire Russia fantasy has been enlarged from known fake leaks from Comey, a former FBI chief who was friendly with Hillary Clinton. There are lots of reasons why those following the discourse of the swamp would be very angry. They are helpless. They feel Black Lives Matter, and they feel the only way to make that known is to attack people not responsible for those problems, but who help. They hear about Occupy and 1% leaders, and they take advice of those in the 1% about whom to blame. Only 1%ers like Hillary and Sanders have lied. They hear that Russia stole from the election for Trump when Hillary was disappointed that she hadn't got more support from Russia. They hear that gun laws are responsible for gun deaths, and one Democrat believes that the entire United States will be wiped out by gun shootings in a week. But the truth is that the tightest gun laws have resulted in the worst atrocities. They are told police target blacks and shoot them for no reason when statistics do not show that. The Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull does not like Donald Trump and made Trump the butt of jokes at a press dinner off the record. Turnbull has claimed subsequently Turnbull was the butt of those jokes, but that is not true. Turnbull would have known it would be leaked, so Turnbull must have joined the swamp, and the reason why an evil loser armed themselves and shot at Republican lawmakers was because of the political discourse of swamp people like Turnbull. Turnbull cannot achieve anything worthwhile as Prime Minister except further personal humiliation of himself. In 763 BC, Assyrians recorded a solar eclipse that was later used to fix the chronology of Mesopotamian history. In 923, the Battle of Soissons, King Robert I of France was killed and King Charles the Simple was arrested by the supporters of the Duke Rudolph of Burgundy. Not much is known of the actual battle except the victorious king was killed and the despised father-in-law to Rollo, the future king and queens of England, was captured. 1184, King Magnus V of Norway was killed at the Battle of Fimrate. Magnus had tied together his fleet of craft, while the usurper Sverre Sigurdsson used his greater mobility to concentrate his attacks on one of the fleet. The result was tethered ships were captured one by one, and then overfilled ships began to sink. The king was on one of the last craft to sink. His sons avenged him. In 1215, King John of England put his seat to the Magna Carta. The snivelling and pathetic King John could have fought a civil war and died, and the kingdom would be reunited a different way. But as history showed, the sealing of the Magna Carta was glorious. In 1219, Northern Crusades, Danish victory at the Battle of Leon-Des, modern-day Tallinn, established the Danish Dutch of Estonia. According to legend, this battle also marked the first use of the Dannebrog, the world's first national flag still in use, as the national flag of Denmark. In 1502, Christopher Columbus landed on the island of Martinique on his fourth voyage. 1520, Pope Leo X threatened to excommunicate Martin Luther in papal bull Exsurge Domine. 1580, Philip II of Spain declared William the Silent to be an outlaw. William was also known as William of Orange, but he isn't the same as William III, King of England. 1648, Margaret Jones was hanged in Boston for witchcraft, in the first such execution for the Massachusetts Bay Colony. 1667, the first human blood transfusion was administered by Dr. Jean-Baptiste Denis. His first 2 patients survived using animal blood, but 2 others died. It wasn't until 1902, when the 4 blood groups were identified, that blood transfusions became relatively safe. In 1752, Benjamin Franklin proved that lightning was electricity. Traditional date, the exact date is unknown. 1775, the American Revolutionary War, George Washington was appointed Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. 1776, Delaware Separation Day. Delaware voted to suspend government under British Crown and separate officially from Pennsylvania. In 1785, Jean-Francois Pilote de Rosier, co-pilot of the first ever manned flight, 1783, and his companion, Pierre Roman, became the first ever fatalities of an air crash when their hot air balloon exploded during their attempt to cross the English Channel.